Brian Wilson, a musical genius, a troubled soul, the architect of one of the most iconic sounds in American music history. But behind the sunshine and surfboards was a story of brilliance, heartbreak, and resilience. Born in 1942 in Hawthorne, California, Brian Douglas Wilson grew up in a musical home. By the age of 2, he could already sing harmonies. And by his teens, he was deeply influenced by jazz vocal groups and classical music. It wasn't long before he and his brothers Carl and Dennis, cousin Mike Love, and friend Al Jardine formed a band, the Beach Boys. In the early 60s, they skyrocketed to fame with hits like Surfin' Safari, I Get Around, and California Girls. But while the world heard songs about girls and surfboards, Brian heard something else. A symphony in his head. Brian stopped touring in 1964 to focus entirely on writing and producing. What followed was nothing short of revolutionary. In 1966, Brian unveiled Pet Sounds, a lush, emotional masterpiece filled with intricate harmonies, orchestral instruments, and heart-wrenching lyrics. It stunned the industry. Even Paul McCartney once said Pet Sounds was his favorite album of all time. But greatness came at a price. Brian's mental health began to unravel. Schizophrenia, depression, and drug abuse took over. For decades, he struggled, retreating from public life, isolated and broken. But Brian's story didn't end there. With the help of family, fans, and doctors, he made a slow return to music. In 2004, nearly 40 years after it was shelved, Brian finally released Smile, the Lost Beach Boys album that many called his unfinished symphony. And it was worth the wait. Brian Wilson's life is a reminder that genius is never easy. That behind every perfect harmony, there can be chaos. But also, healing. He may not be the loudest voice in the room, but through his music, Brian Wilson taught the world how to feel. Today, Brian is celebrated not just as a Beach Boy, but as one of the greatest composers of the 20th century.